Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Idea Studio. This is our weekend live stream. I'm Dana.
I'm Chip.
So, originally, you guys may have seen we scheduled this for Sunday. I think the description even still says Sunday because I had a photography gig booked for today. The client switched the booking last minute to Sunday.
Oh, wait. Normally we do it on Saturday night, isn't it?
Normally we do Saturday, but I had scheduled it for Sunday because the client
Oh,
had booked me for
okay.
Saturday. And there was no way I was gonna be able to get it done otherwise. So I switched it to Sunday, and then they're like, "Hey, we've hit a snag. Can we reschedule this to Sunday and make it work?" So I was like, "Yeah, we can make that work, no problem." So reschedule to Sunday, go from there. But that's where we are at the moment. So I have a photography gig tomorrow. We'll talk about that a little later. But in the meantime, the whole thing is, yeah, we on Saturday now. So it's a bit confusing. I suspect that maybe some people won't make it to the stream who intended to because of the late switch. And the funny thing is, I had scheduled early to go live on Sunday because I was like, oh, they booked me midweek or early week. So I'm like, oh, I know I'll be away on Saturday shooting. And then back to Sunday.
Yes.
It happens. Let's see, who we got over here. Let's see. Why is Jib? I've not seen Thailand's Fitspo. What?
What's
I have
that?
no idea what that is. Anti-Dana.
Fitspo.
Maganj, what's going on? Eric. Dana, you were on TV in the waiting room of the Rayong airport last Wednesday playing a referee. Looked up and thought, hey, I know who that is. So, okay, so Eric, this is interesting. I have been a referee in real life in the past. So, if they were old fights, that would have been me. But I was also not a referee, but a cornerman in Hard Target 2, which is a Scott Adkins movie years ago. I think we shot that in 2014 or 2015.
15?
Was it 2015?
I think.
Because we were already living at Pachani
That's a
Wet.
15.
So 2015 we shot that. So I was the cornerman in that movie. The funny story is, Eric, I was supposed to be the referee in that movie. That's the part I was cast in. And when we got there, when we got to the set, the director was like, whoa, you're way too big to be the referee in this fight scene because these guys, they're both small. Scott Adkins is a very muscular guy, but not large. He's short and he might be 150, 160 pounds. And then the other guy was not even as muscular as him, a little bit taller. And they were like, you're way too big to be the referee. These guys are going to look like midgets if you're the one stopping the fight. Which, when I was a real referee, was a common occurrence. I would ref a lot of lightweight, bantamweight fights because this is Asia. And I would often just step in to stop the fight and just push the guys apart. Jim's seen it many times. But yeah, so that could have been it. Hard Target 2, where I played a referee. I was also in a Thai movie as the bad guy, but I was a fighter. And that was the first thing I ever filmed, and it was the most random
Never
thing.
watched it.
I've never even seen it.
Where they
They
show
they
it?
told me that it was in theaters in Thailand.
Okay.
And I don't even know the name of it.
Oh,
And yeah, I was covered in basically they filmed my entire part in the movie in one day. They showed up at the gym. They're like, "Oh, good, you're here. You're gonna be the bad guy. Here's some money. Let's do this scene. All right, you have to do this. Kidnap this girl. You have I had to there was a rape scene, but it was implied. They don't obviously they don't show it. And then there was just a bunch of fight scenes, like me beating up a bunch of people, killing them, and then almost killing the main character. Of course, until the very end, where he jumps up in the air and lands an armbar and snaps my arm. And
really?
yeah,
Anyone can armbar you and snap your elbow?
yeah, and then
Ah.
and flying armbar, but I had to lift him to get the flying armbar because we had to make it look real because he couldn't do it, and so we had to come up with a way where like we were clinching and wrestling, and I was like punching him, and I had to like half clinch him and then sort of like lift his shorts up from a certain camera angle, so it looked like when I lifted him up and I was holding his shorts, he could swing around and get the arm bar, and then I would like hold it out and fall back.
So you just do it yourself.
Basically, and then like the way they filmed it, like they filmed like the few shots of him like pulling it back to like snap it, and then we turned my arm so like in the next shot it like would bend.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, and then he like crushed my head is the last thing. Yeah, so that was that scene. And I was covered in, it was all fake blood, but it's like made of corn syrup, and so we're filming in a parking garage, which is open air, and I'm covered in fake blood. I'm a hairy guy on top of it. So the fake blood is basically corn syrup with really, really red dye. And it's sticky. And there's a ton of mosquitoes.
Yes.
And so I was getting mosquitoes caked all over the corn syrup. And so in between every take, someone would come out and spray down the mats that we were fighting on inside this cage. And then I would have to go outside with the main guy, and they would spray us down with water and spray all of the corn syrup off of us. And then dry us off, and then they put more fake blood on us, and we'd have to do it again.
Ugh.
Yeah, I have a photo somewhere of me and him at the end of filming, covered in fake blood, smiling, and like they made it look like his nose was all broken and his eyes were all blown out. So yeah, it could have been, it could have been that, or it could have been like anything. I'm not sure.
I think maybe Hard Target too.
Yeah, probably Hard Target 2 if I was on the.
That one, we can't even find.
Yeah, it's not even on Netflix or anything. So if it was on TV in the Rayong airport, if you had to watch that movie, Eric, I'm sorry.
Ranong, not Rayong.
Sorry, Ranong.
Ranong is in the south.
So if you had to watch that movie, Eric, I'm sorry, because I've seen it. It is what it is. I mean, it's a very good action. It's a very good B action movie for what it is. Like, it's a popcorn movie, right? You sit there, eat some popcorn, like, oh, great fights. I'll tell you, though, they filmed that, I think they said 28 days straight. They filmed all of that. And I was talking to Scott because we worked, like, all day with each other. I was only on set for one day on that movie. That's how I met my buddy David. But he was basically saying that he had filmed every single day, like for 28 days in that movie. And like that day he was like, you know, before every shot, like doing burpees to stay jacked. And it was a long day. It was a long day for me. It was like 5X for him. So it's like, even making a movie at that budget, at that level is tough work for the actors. Probably more so like when I was on the set for True Love recently, which is a much bigger budget movie. That's still a 14, 15-hour day for those guys, but like it's not a 14, 15-hour fight scene day. Like for Scott and like the other guy who were filming their parts, it was just a very physical, brutal day. And after watching the movie, I'm pretty sure every day on set was a physical, brutal day for people. It was a very action-packed film.
Oh.
Yeah. Snagged, but no worries. The hardcore fans are here. Oh, thank you, Anti-Dana. Maybe it was hey, Smoked Up, what's going on? I think he's laughing about the corn syrup and fake blood. Yeah, I think the cornerman, you were wearing black. The fight was entertaining. Yeah, so maybe.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when I was a referee, like when I would really ref fights, you always wear all black. That's the uniform. But I've been like on I've refereed televised fights all over Asia, but normally those type of things don't get replayed in airports.
They don't.
Yeah, unless they're like all-time epic fights. Like I've refed a few fights that have made like all-time highlight reel type stuff, like YouTube edits, but never anything that would have been like so big that you'd see it replaying in an airport somewhere. Like, so yeah, probably Hard Target too. Good experience. That was like the first.
Wait for the movie. That one.
For True Love? Yeah. True Love will be in True Love coming up. I've got really, cool part.
Hope can see your face.
Small one-day part. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully I'm visible. Hopefully I have my dialogue makes it into the movie, because in Hard Target, my dialogue did not make it into the movie at all. At all. Like I had a few lines in Hard Target 2, and that was straight up on the cutting room floor. That's how it just goes down like that sometimes. But that, and then Bang, which is I shot another movie this year called Bang. And that's where I met Wei from Titanium.
So you should be in that movie. They're not going to cut you.
No, I mean, I only have like 2 lines of dialogue in that movie. And
you filmed how many days?
8 days.
And just 2 lines.
Yeah. But just in a lot of scenes. I'll be, like, my character will be in that movie because he's critical to the story.
Okay.
But, like, my dialogue,
okay. At least I will see your face
some
in
of my
that
dialogue
movie.
might end up in that movie. But ultimately, I mean, the thing about, like, those types of jobs is, like, you're there to play a small part when you're acting in films like that. And your job really is to just paint the picture the director wants. And make it so, like, the main talent in those movies, the main actors or actresses, like, their parts come across right? And it's your interaction with them that's really important. It's all it's a creative process at the end of the day, and you're part of the project. The project's not you, right? So it's like you're helping to sort of facilitate and we all are, everyone on set, from the third AC, the third camera assistant, to the director, to the producer, to the actors. Like, even if you're just an extra, you're there to help paint this picture and really round it out and make it part of what it is. And I think that's important. It's an important mindset to have when you go into these things, that you're going into it to be that part of it, to be part of the total picture, and to make it the most successful thing possible, and not like think, oh, like this is my big jump or this is my big break into the industry. It's about, it's more about like, I'm part of a project. I have the opportunity to make this something, right? And that's how I always approach it. I have been on shoots with people who are like, oh, this is a big part for me, and like I've got to like really just sort of get in front of the camera and like be seen, and I'd never see those people again, right? And then
really,
yeah, I mean, a lot of them are just like, and then there are other people who are they're working actors, and this is the approach that they take, that they work a lot. They act a lot, whether it's a small role or a big role or speaking or background. Like, they just take the roles and they work and work and work. And that's a tough life too. So, it's being in that, having the opportunity to be in those positions and be in those types of projects are fantastic. And for me, at least, I love it. I enjoy it. I get to see something from the other side of the camera, and I get to see other filmmakers work. Especially, like, I don't have any interest in making narrative like films, like action movies or dramas. Like, I really like documentary, but I don't mind to act in a movie. I think that's fantastic. I get to watch like someone like Witch, who directed Bang, or Gareth Edwards, who directed True Love. Like, to see them work at their craft and see how they do is really interesting to me. And then also to be in the room with Bang, Jack Essie was the main character, the lead. And also I got to work with Peter Weller, who was RoboCop, which is probably a bigger deal to me than anything.
Yes.
Like Peter Weller's pretty dope.
Like, I just remember him with the RoboCop role, with that young face.
Yeah.
Like, when you show me his photos, like, from the rooms, like,
yeah, he's obviously more. RoboCop was almost 50 years ago.
Like, I kind of lost the track of the time, I guess. But
So-
I feel like, oh, why he looks like grandpa now?
And Peter Weller's a big. Peter Weller's got a big personality, so it's like you get out there with Peter Weller, it's like, wow, this is a cool opportunity to see someone like that, and I really appreciated that, like, to work with him and meet him. And then Jack Essie, who was in 12 Strong, who played Bang, And you get to see like that, and then obviously John David Washington, JD from True Love, and to see like his ability and his range on set, you know. So yeah,
Is he
there's
tall?
no, not taller than me. I don't think. I don't remember him being tall, but I mean, his presence is powerful as an actor. Like you get on set with him, and you're like you feel overwhelmed almost. Like whoa.
Oh.
Let's see. So Eric says, I was an extra in a blaxploitation western. Wow, with Richard Pryor and Fred Williams. Wow, wow, that is very cool. That's
Cool.
very cool. Richard Pryor was an epic comedian. Oh, then why'd you say? Oh, sorry, Chris. Sorry. Yeah, I was just explaining at the beginning, Chris. Like we got messed up with the. I've got a gig tomorrow that was supposed to be tonight, so we originally scheduled for Sunday, and then the client moved the shoot to tomorrow. So, yeah.
Seems like they move a lot.
Well, they're getting things settled, but great client. Any client's a great client, but you know,
Yeah.
good client. JD rocks the space. Yeah, JD. I mean, as far as like actors who I've been around, like there's a lot that are like most of them have been really cool, but like his presence when he's on set, right? And he had already done Tenet had already been like a smashed Black Klansman, so he's obviously well known, but just like his presence on set, like when you're acting with him. And I'll say there was a scene that we were in together where like, and Gareth Edwards, the director, was amazing to work with as well on that project because he was really, like, just like his openness to let you sort of experiment, even in my role, which was small, but he was like, hey, try this, or like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, he would ask for feedback, which was great. But then to watch him work with JD, who like can deliver every time, right? Like I'm very much an unknown for Gareth Edwards. JD's probably the exact opposite, very much a known. And to watch JD like have to have like an emotional reaction to our scene, and like I remember at one point they had called break and he went back to his trailer, and I guess he fell asleep, and then they're like, oh, there was a mix up on the page, you could get JD back, we need to shoot this next scene. So someone runs down, gets him, or they call on the radio, and someone runs him up because we're shooting in a train station, and that they converted to a military base. But so he runs up, obviously like he's all flustered, and he's like, oh man, he's like, I kind of like fell asleep. He's like, what? I don't even know where we're at. What are we doing? And so the AD explains to him like, oh, it's this scene. It was out of order on the sheet. He's like, all right, boom, knows the lines, knows the scene, goes and literally like turns around the corner. He's like, I'm ready when you guys are ready. He goes to his cue, and he comes out of the doors like literally having just woken up, and he's having an interaction with Ian, the guy who played the general, and he just like turns on the emotion, like his eyes literally just turn red, like he just had this response physically to the emotion that he was having, and it kind of just like, wow, what a. Like I'm watching him work, and I'm blown away, right? Like I'm watching him act. I've got to be in character as my character. Now I'm watching him act. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta, all right, like what are my lines here? What am I doing? All right, gotta work on this thing. But I mean, like that level, that was like the first time I'd been around like someone who had like that level of talent, like to just like, and to see it, like I said, like be all flustered, like he had like fallen asleep for a minute, and then was pulled out of that, like, oh hey, we messed up the order.
That's how he got a leading.
I mean, that, and obviously he delivers. Like if you watch him in Tenet, right? Like he's always so consistent. Or it is a headache movie, but it's a great movie. Or Black Klansman, he delivers on timing. So I mean, it's like that was an epic experience. But like seeing that, like switch something in me, and I was like, boom, boom, yes. Like I see why he's like where he's at. It's like that. The amount of work you must put in to be able to pull up those emotions instantly, like, because it's hard. Like Gareth had asked me to do a scene where I cry, but like not cry. Like I get
What's that mean? You cry, but
teary-eyed.
not
I have an
cry.
emotional response to something, and I needed to take a minute. I'm like, I need to take a minute to get to that place. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And then we shot it. He was like, it was great. It was awesome. Thank you. But like, it took me like a minute to get to that place, and then to physically display it. Whereas like JD did it in the scene after like 30 seconds of like, all right, good to go. Sorry guys, going off on my acting stories. I was an extra in the opening of a movie once, missing a train, and worked it out with the director because he got upset about me looking left and right after getting on the platform. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, they didn't go through blocking with you, Smoke Def, before the shoot. Like, usually you're blocking, like, stand here, move here. When they move, you move, look this way, that way. I like the Detroit villain better in that RoboCop. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, Detroit kind of is like RoboCop in that movie. It's a rough city. But, yeah, it's definitely a fun movie. It's too much of it has become realistic, and now like I think it was San Francisco is going to use drones. They've authorized the use of drones to kill suspects.
Really? Is that real?
Yeah.
Oh.
D, what's up, Benoit? Hey D, what's going on? Brother, when I was cutting Tenet, he was very hard to keep out. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I'll tell you, like, watching Tenet, when I was watching Tenet, it was like, the first time I saw it, I left the theater. I was like, I really liked it, but I don't know why. And I was like really engaged with the story, but I don't know why.
I like it, but I have hated it. I don't know why.
It was, I think I've watched it like, I've probably watched it 10 times now. But it wasn't until like the second or third time when you realize, like, especially the second time when you watch it and you realize, oh shit, every time they're going back in time, every time they're moving through time, it's always a one-to-one exchange, and it's a real-time movement. Huh. So when they're going back in time, it takes that long as the distance you are from the time you want to go back to. So like you can't go like back to the prehistoric age, you'll die before you get there. Right? So yeah, there's all these. Every time I watch it, like there's something new that comes up that makes me question something I saw previously.
So I may watch it again after I graduate.
It's one of those movies that just it's so good, and visually too. I mean, the cinematography, the directing is stunning in Tenet. The fact that they crash an airplane for a movie, like an actual airplane, is insane. That's a practical effect. That's not CGI. They crash that airplane into the airport.
Why they need that?
So, I mean, when you think about that, you know, it's like, wow. But also, like, when the story there, like, the writing is, I mean, like, when Interstellar with the Tesseract and everything is like, wow, this is great, it's awesome, right? But it's very sciencey and technical. I think, like, with, someone must have said to Christopher Nolan, like, hey, man, I think that's probably Interstellar is the limit of how like sciencey you can get with a blockbuster. And Christopher Nolan was like, "Oh, hold my beer," and went off and wrote Tenet. Like, yeah. Toby sitting on my sofa having a Leo hoodie and a pair of socks. Nice.
Did you wear shorts or pants?
Or just the hoodie and socks?
Wait.
Could be a long hoodie.
ผ้าขาวม้าไหม?
You have a good screen for. Oh, thank you, Eric. Jib always gives me a hard time about Hard Target 2 because there's a scene where they, after he wins, where I pick him up and I turn around. I pick up Scott Adkins and I turn around so you see his face and they blow up the glitter behind him. And Jib's like, you only use one hand to pick him up. He's supposed to be a professional fighter. Use two hands.
Yeah. You just carry him like one arm.
And we shot that like 6 times, that one scene. So every time someone's in there sweeping up the glitter, then they're putting it back in the air cannons. The other thing, they bought that canvas from a Muay Thai supplier. not thinking like they're gonna grapple on it like it's an MMA fight. And one of the main issues was it was painted blue, and the paint kept coming off on their skin when they were training, and like they were turning blue. So they flipped it inside out, stretched it down, and then. But the problem is the underside of the canvas is rough, so it doesn't slip on the mat. So they were beat up by the end of that. If you drop the cloud, you can do it. You were made for it, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
What's that mean?
Being full time as an actor is tough. I think like a lot of those guys, especially I think if you're here, like I don't mind like when I get calls to like go to readings for like foreign productions, I love it. But like to make a living of it, like living in Bangkok, if you're not Thai, even if you're a foreigner who speaks Thai, it's very difficult because the roles are limited.
Thai.
Bangkok neighbor Devin, what's going on? Tenet needs at least, Tenet definitely needs 4 times at least. it
4 times? Okay, I think I watched it just once from the theater. That's all.
I saw it twice in the theater, and now 8 times at home.
Okay, I'll watch it again after I graduate.
It was just a girl and I going out to the platform, wide shot of us behind the subway train moving off, just standing there looking straight. Oh, nice. That's still a good shot. Looking straight seemed that. Yeah, I think it depends on, like, again, the blocking and how they see the edit. So while a lot of scenes do seem like that, Smoke Def, though, like what you're doing may seem unnatural, but like the director has the vision of the edit. So when it's going through the edit, and he might be cutting to something else real quick. So like he has that vision, and like if you're just an extra, maybe you don't get the chance to go through the table read, or you don't get the chance to see the storyboards. That always makes a big difference. Like I only got to do the table read on Bang. That was my first table read ever, and so like, it's cool to show up to the table read for Bang, and Peter Weller's there, right, and Jack Kesey's there. Like that's cool. But like I did get to see storyboards for True Love right before my scene, not like before that. Everything is super controlled.
Oh.
I still have my call sheet from True Love. I don't think I was supposed to take it.
Yeah.
Seth, what's going on? Good morning, guys. I was thinking about you last night. Dano.
Yeah, they know.
Jibsta. Jibs. Watching an engineer who makes. I saw that today. Mark
that
Roper.
One that's like fun.
He did,
I don't know. Is this the one that I saw?
Mark Roper, yeah, on YouTube.
No, it's old one.
He's done it for 5 years.
Oh, okay, maybe that one.
He said the one he did this year has drones that launch out of the box and spread glitter all over the house.
Good.
Yeah, that's the Mark Roper channel. Mark seems like a very, very, not just smart, but interesting dude. Didn't get much instructions besides go there, stop, and miss the... So that's poor direction. Definitely, like if you're getting direction on a scene where it's just you need to understand your blocking and your movement for sure.
Mm-hmm.
747 crash was easy compared to Enter. My brain hurt. Yeah. It's still, I mean, the money on that, the liability insurance on something like that.
Oh.
Hey, Piquan, what's going on? Like the new avatar, Piquan, aka Ron.
Oh, why he picked the name Kwan?
Maybe because it's close to Ron, or maybe someone
Is
gave
it
him that name.
close to
Ron.
No.
So how'd you come up with Piquan? Also, you have a new channel too, right? English language channel about moving to Thailand.
Ooh.
Shorts and t-shirts also. Okay, not just the hoodie and socks. You guys, so we don't celebrate Christmas at all. We
celebrate Christmas.
So we have our own thing that we do. We always order Chinese food, and we watch the greatest Christmas movie ever made, Die Hard, every year.
Yes.
So that's our quick Christmas celebration. But yeah, for us, like New Year's is the bigger holiday, and my birthday falls between Christmas and New Year's. So it's like we just kind of like wrap it all into New Year's really. As that, I did give Jib her gift early, because her wallet broke, and I bought her a new wallet, so a new Cat Kiston wallet, which is like her favorite fabric designer. So because the zipper broke on her old one, and everything was falling out, I gave her. Whereas I've had my wallet for like over 20 years, like my little nylon wallet.
It maybe last long, but not come with the style.
No, yours still lasts like more than 5 years, right? Because we got that when we lived in Ossoak. Yeah, so, and then I got you one before that, or you bought one before that?
You got me one before that.
Yeah.
The last one that I bought myself.
Yeah. So yeah, it's more than 5 years for yours, and it's the zipper that failed, which of course you're not surprised by. You're not surprised by at all. So how about you, Ron? What are you doing for Christmas, if anything? Curious, are you Chinese tourists back yet? Or are the Chinese tourists back yet? I have information on... I didn't hear about any flooding in Japan. Or you mean flooding of tourists? I've seen some Chinese tourists here.
Maybe they're not Chinese. Maybe Hongkies or Taiwanese.
Possible. I've also been out to, I was doing photography in Nana the other day, and quite a few Japanese tourists on Soy 11.
I heard like more Japanese language in the train.
Yeah.
No.
For sure. They're definitely more visible. What's your go-to Chinese dish? So I mean, it's American Chinese food here. So for us, it's I like the General Tao's tofu. And Jib goes for usually the orange chicken or the General Tao's. Just like
we all want General Tao good, but the new restaurant is kind of spicy.
So yeah, there's only one place left now that does the American style Chinese, Wok Star Express. So we order from them. If it was real Chinese food, I like the fried rice with the genko.
Huh?
Like the J-style fried rice that you get from Chinatown sometimes. It's basically like the J genko taro fried rice, but like more Chinese.
ข้าวอบเผือก
Chai. Love Mark's the version 5 with the drones. Kwana's a nickname from college. Oh, really? The Thai pronunciation came from Thai people after I came. Okay. Nice. Yeah, have fun too, man. Happy holidays to you too. Hopefully, I know you said you'll be in Bangkok next year, so hopefully we have a coffee soon. China's still closed, but opening soon, I believe. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I've seen a few, but like not a ton. Like Jib said, maybe they're Honkies or they're from Taiwan.
Or maybe they
Or
can
they
be
just
like
live here. Yeah.
or they're like a
Chinese Malaysians or something.
Singaporean.
Yeah, true. Could be. Almost all Chinese Malaysians speak Chinese. Same in Singapore.
Oh yes,
Speak
maybe
Mandarin.
they're Malaysian. Can
So
be
I don't
any.
know the difference between Mandarin and Canto.
No,
so
I cannot
Yeah,
tell.
so I have no idea if they're Honkies or from somewhere else that speaks Mandarin. But definitely, like I said on Soy 11 the other day, a lot of guys speaking Japanese, like 30-something-year-old dudes all hanging out together, speaking Japanese on Soy 11 like midday. I had a food photo shoot down at actually at a vegan restaurant, and I was supposed to do a couple of cannabis dispensaries after that, and they rescheduled again. So I was like, it was originally supposed to be Friday, and then they're like, oh no, we need to do Saturday, and now it's like, oh, we'll do Sunday, so it's all right. And then I have an evening shoot on Monday night as well at a club for an event. So, interesting. And then next year I've got one on the 7th at Escape again. At Escape with Colin. Yeah, so interesting. A lot of work coming up.
And will it rain again?
I hope not. Yeah, last event at Escape, big outdoor event, rain. This one's supposed to be like a big farmer's market of cannabis.
Okay.
Like they're inviting a bunch of other shops and stuff. Over on the other side of the Sky Bridge. Is that still the same mall when you cross the Sky Bridge from Escape into the other building? I think so, right?
Yes.
They're all just
same
multiple.
mall, but like they have 3 towers that you
yeah.
can walk.
Oh, walking Soy 4 again. So I actually, is Soy 4 where Nana Plaza is? Or is
You
that
told
Soy
me that.
2?
You told me, but I never visited.
I went to Nana Plaza the other day when I was scoping out the sites, but I don't remember if it's Soi 4 or Soi 2.
I'm not
It
sure.
might be
like,
Soi 2.
Normally, I walk on like a odd side,
Yeah,
not
it's-
really on even side.
It's rare for me to be on the even side.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Soi 4 or Soi 2 for Nana Plaza, but yeah, I have to shoot there. That's my last spot to shoot on Sunday night, is inside Nana Plaza. Like quite literally, like the place is inside the entranceway to Nana Plaza. So it's like the first place you go before you go into Nana Plaza. So it's like stock up on your cannabis, then go into the adult playground, which it literally says adult playground on the top of Nana Plaza. Yeah.
Oh,
Someone told me that used to be a shopping mall.
is it?
It's still a shopping mall, but someone told me it used to be a shopping mall for stuff.
And now it's chopping off for something else.
Yes.
Ja.
Toby. Toby looked it up on Google Maps. Thank you, Toby. Thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate you looking up on Google
okay.
Maps.
He tell it by his experience or Google
No,
Maps.
he said he's ignorant to the idea. He looked, so Google Maps, I'm sure that's the only place he would have known it from.
Okay.
Google Maps.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I always get confused because I feel like the next soy is Planchet. Right? So it should be, I feel like it should be 2. Unless 2's like just one of those little alleys.
I don't know. Odd and even, it's not really like close number
Hmm.
to each other. Number 2. Is that like near the post office?
No,
No, post
no,
office.
it's not a post office the other way.
That's on even side.
Yeah, but it's the other way going
Oh.
back towards Ossoak.
Okay.
I'm cutting it short right now with Salmon to Chench. They're out here. Front women is okay. I'm gonna check that out. Send me a link. Oh, it's obviously you're cutting it now. Do you have any other work you can link up, or shoot to me on Messenger? I'll check it out. I was watching the new. You got me hooked on Dust, the sci-fi channel. Like there's a sci-fi YouTube channel with all shorts called Dust.
Oh, okay.
Now, like I'm addicted to like a couple of their little series. And some of them can be like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but they're so
Ja.
good.
Ja.
It's difficult to break into freelance video shooting, or probably just varies case to case. I think it's. I guess it depends, like what you want to do. Like if you want to do, I think the lowest hanging fruit for that type of stuff is corporate jobs. So or probably the lowest hanging is is probably weddings, which are, I would imagine, I've never shot a wedding. I don't plan to, but I imagine that like weddings are like the highest stakes as well, because you mess up or you lose a card, and
Yes.
like people are gonna be like, they'll want to murder you for
Correct,
sure.
correct.
Like that's, and they can be a lot of money, but it's also like, I imagine it's a lot of pain too.
There's no place for mistake.
Yeah, no place for mistake. And so for video, like if you were to shoot video, weddings is probably the easiest. Next would be like corporate clients, like just networking. And those types of things, like you're shooting you're shooting video of like conferences, or you're shooting video of like maybe doing like talking head videos for companies. It's like really like sort of like monkey type work. I don't want to say monkey. There's still skill in it, but it's not what I would want to do. Right? And it's not like, it's professional work. It's just not professional. Like it's not pro level stuff. That would be my suggestion, my take on it. Is it easy to break into? It's as easy as you can network into it. So it's like you would have to still go out, network, meet people, and then I would say like the really difficult things are working for like news agencies, or like working on film. Right, because it's the most selective, and the smaller the community gets that you're working in, the more challenging it becomes because it's more competitive. like I have a relationship with BTSN who they relicense my content and I'm shooting some stuff for them. But again, that came from a relationship that built up over 6 or 7 years and led to things. I've done work with universities as well on some of their programs that it can be just as challenging. Like, so I don't want to say yes, it's easy. No, it's not. It's the level to which you want to work in and like where you feel comfortable with it. Like, do you want to push more creativity with your projects, or do you want to have like more consistent work? I think like the same with photography. Like, their wedding photographers can be a dime a dozen. Good ones are always busy and very expensive, and not so good ones are, it's very much in many cases you get what you pay for. So like, is it difficult? Yes and no. Getting good, I would say, is more challenging than getting work. But getting good work is even more challenging than both of those, if that makes sense. I'm sure I'm giving a horrible answer here, Seth. It also depends on what you find enjoyable and what you want to do. So, like I said, if you think shooting weddings, like there's a guy I saw on YouTube, I can't remember his name, American guy, who he shoots weddings and he basically makes weddings look like Netflix documentaries.
What?
Like he shoots interviews with the bride and groom, the groomsmen, the bridesmaids, the family members. He edits it all into like a story, and he produces like a 2-hour Netflix style documentary with talking heads and B-roll and all types of stuff. He cuts in music. I mean,
Okay.
like really high level
Interesting.
production, like products. But one, I'm sure it's a lot of money for him, and he shows up to the wedding with like 2 or 3 other cameramen and like an audio mix guy, and he's micing everyone up, and I'm sure the edits are absolute monsters. And that's a difficult type of thing. He's producing a very cool product, but how many people are also willing to pay for that? Versus like, hey, I'll just get like a video, like a corporate type video where someone sits there with a camera at the end of the walkway and films the wedding. Yeah. Good to go.
There's always people who want to pay.
There's always people, but like, especially in America, because it's so big, how far are you willing to bring someone in to do that quality of work? And his work is so popular now. He's very much a known commodity in that space. So maybe there are people willing to like, hey, I don't know where he's based, but let's say he's based in like Colorado, right? And they're like, hey, we'll fly you to Texas to do our wedding, or we'll fly you to Virginia to shoot a movie like that for our wedding. I mean, they're probably full-blown productions, like 2-3 million baht maybe. I wouldn't pay that for a wedding video.
You don't even pay for wedding.
No, we didn't even have a wedding. We got married and we ate lunch at a restaurant and went back to work the same day. But I mean, but would you pay that for a wedding video? No, exactly. Right, but you're right. There are people who would.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure there was a long journey for him between where he's at now and the prices he can demand for the quality of work he does, which is outstanding, to where he started, right? And I'm sure there was steps all along the way. Even if he had the vision, it also took the other challenge to this, Seth, is not just networking, but be able to communicate the value that you bring as a creator, or as a videographer, as a filmmaker, to a specific endeavor, because to some people it's not always clear. And if you are able to communicate that and put that out there, and people can see that, it's much more valuable for you. Again, that just takes time and crafting your message and putting it together in a way that is packageable. There's a lot to it. It can be a very slow, painful process, like, and there's ups and downs as well. So anything creative like that can be challenging, but it's also incredibly rewarding. I mean, don't let anything I said detract you if that's what you're interested in, because it can be very rewarding. It's just also, it can be challenging. And having other ways to make money in place are important as well. Toby has a soy 2 is close to soy 4. Then you have soy. Really?
What is soy 0?
Is there a soy 0?
Really?
Soy zoom?
Is it too cold for you? For the AC?
No, it's 27. Why?
Are you sure it's 27?
Oh, 26. Oh. There we go, 27. It is a little cold. We slept without AC
because
last
you
night.
started.
What was I doing?
No replay.
No replay. So yeah, there's ups and downs, man, but it's definitely worth it. You shoot me an email, man. We can chat about it. I'm more than happy to. Sorry, Soul Mountain. They were very okay. I'll check that out. And TW, okay. Congrats again, Mara. Thank you. It's been years now, right? Years? 3 years? 4 years? 4 years?
I don't think so.
2018?
Is it?
Maybe 2017?
18?
2018?
19?
Was it 19?
I don't know.
But it was some time ago. It was last decade.
No.
It's definitely last decade.
No.
Yeah. We're in the 20s now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Soy Zero used to be an entertainment area. Bangkok Pat made a video about it.
Oh, okay.
I've seen, I like his videos. I just never watch them.
What's that mean?
Seems like he's very interesting. He knows a ton about the city. I just never watch anything he makes. Because one, he's British.
Do you have a problem with British accent?
It can be difficult to understand it. His isn't so bad, but he's not like from Liverpool or anything, but it can be a little dry for me. That's all. Actually, I liked it. He used to do really deep dives historically. I haven't seen any of those lately. I think that might have been one of them. The deep. He did one about the whole history of Nana.
Oh.
Where he found old footage, really impressive research on it.
I don't know how it was, how it looked like.
He found stuff from when your parents were kids, old photos and stuff.
Very old.
Yeah, he was.
I just know one family owned that soy.
Yeah,
Their last name is Nana.
Yeah, he talked about that, and I guess someone from that family reached out to him.
Oh.
But yeah, he did a deep.
Reach
deep
out
dive.
to him and sue him or what?
No, to clarify some things.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, they did a deep dive on it. He did really his research is top notch.
Mm-hmm.
From the things that he's able to find. I said just a little dry. I think that's the British in him. That's all. But he's actually half Thai. He's Brit Thai.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
I thought it was just
Interesting.
I thought it was Spanish or something, that a Spanish guy who grew up in England and had that accent, but he doesn't look very half.
Huh.
But yeah, he's very interesting research, deep research. And Soy Zero, I think is that what people used to call Blade Runner Alley, Toby? Someone had mentioned that to me before. So a place called Blade Runner Alley, that was between. That might have been on the odd side, but it was an old nightlife, little alleyway. Maybe it doesn't. I don't think it would have been Soy Zero. Chris says, "My group is now enter. Dust is the indie way of the future." Those Dust productions are amazing, absolutely amazing. They must. I imagine they're just all shot in green screen rooms, right? Green rooms or green studios, because to actually create some of those sets would just be cost prohibitive. Whereas, walking into a studio and then having someone who does VFX just wrap the room or create objects with motion tracking. Then some of the I don't know if any of you guys watch the VFX channels out there. There's some people who just do crazy stuff with VFX. That's you watch it like, you know, they show how they film it. They've just got like a ball painted green and they're doing stuff with it. Like, it's crazy. You know, and like the level of skill is so high and the technology has made so many things possible. Really interesting. It's mind blowing.
But I miss the time that they have to like
Crash actual 747s into airports.
no, I mean like old time, like old time that they have to make like a model and move it.
Oh yeah, like stop motion.
Yes,
Types of,
that style.
old Star Wars style with a little
No, I mean like it's like maybe Hercules or Samson, like that time. That,
Oh,
like
okay.
very old time.
Very old time, yeah. Yeah.
I miss that style.
I kind of like I like practical effects obviously more than other things. Oh, let's say Eric popping up. I had durian for the first time today, not so much. Can I get another entry? Yes. Oh, yeah, so we'll talk about that. It's actually, I think 400 is 2 entries, Eric, so let me
Thank
add that to the
you.
list. So we're actually going to do a drawing on the entry because of the confusion with I was going to do the live stream tomorrow, then we moved to today. I didn't have time to prep all of the entries. You'll see we've got like a little thing here. There's some fireballs in there too with the papers, but so we're gonna do one midweek. We'll schedule it. It'll just be like a short live stream just to do the winner. But yeah, I'm gonna put you down right now, Eric, for 2 more. Let me see. You're getting up there in entries too, Eric. +2. There we go. Excellent. I think Joe's still the top amount of entries, though, for sure. Yeah, Eric, so you got 2 more. And like I said, we'll schedule something midweek, maybe Wednesday or Thursday Thai time, Wednesday night or Thursday night Thai time, and just pop in and do it. You know, we'll do a little build-up, let people be able to join. And then when we see like we get up to a certain amount, we'll do it. So what'd you think of the, not so much. You did. I was saying, what'd you think of it? Had durian for the first time, not so much.
But now you like it, huh?
I like it.
Yes,
right? So,
you like it.
So Eric, let me say, I don't know if you've ever seen my video first time trying durian. I did not like it at all.
What year was that?
2013.
Okay.
I was not a fan at all of the taste, the texture. But what I thought in my mind, Eric, was like so many people love it. They're so passionate about it, right? What am I missing about durian that I don't get? And so, like, I thought, let me try it again. It took me another like 2 seasons because I missed 1 season, and I was like, all right, because seasonal. That I tried it again, and I didn't dislike it as much. I still didn't like it the second time I tried it, Eric. So don't think it happens overnight. And even the third time, I was at the point where I was like, okay, I don't hate it, but I definitely don't like it, right? So we're talking years and years of like trying it and going through the process.
Home.
And so like, Jib loves it, right? So Jib would always eat it like every year, and then like maybe 2 years ago. Like, it was to the point where, like, Jib was eating it. I could smell it. I was like, the smell is actually not offensive to me now. It smells, okay, let me try a bit. And I started to see the appeal of it. Like, I still think Jib eats it way too ripe. She eats it, like,
not
soupy.
true. Not true.
Like, Jibs is basically, like,
no,
liquid inside.
No.
So, I got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm not, like, I don't find the smell offensive. Let me try it again. And like it just became something that I did like. And I think being around it, trying it, like it definitely is an acquired taste. Like if you don't grow up eating it, you don't grow up loving it, like it's something you got to get used to. And now I am, and now I really do enjoy it. We were actually walking home the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that smells really good." We could grab some durian one night this week because it's really, we're coming up, like the season should be over. We're like button up on the end of the season for sure. So it's probably our last chance to have it. But
Possible.
like if you don't like it your first time, I 100% get that. But like give yourself a chance to experience it again when you feel up to it, like after trying it for the first time. See what.
So maybe he didn't get like the good one. Maybe too
Like,
ripe or
it could
too
have been.
young.
How soft was it? How firm was it, Eric? That's a good question that we should try to flush out here.
Because for me, as they smell it and like touch it a little bit, like
Jib freaks out when I try to touch it. She's like, no.
because actually like the one that will don't like when you touch it because you can leave your like finger mark on it,
Yeah.
which is like not nice, not
Drop-
good to sell.
You want to get some chong pants, some elephant pants, anti-Dana? But don't get me started on 20. Oh, yeah, 2049 is a good one. Way too much time on waiting for GDBS from my life. Okay. Some of those are, I mean, but at the same time, like, great effects. Oh, so Eric said, I hear you, but maybe I'll give it another shot. It's a little like cumbery. Yeah, so same thing. Like the softness, the delicateness, the ferment. It's not fermented, but like it almost feels fermented.
Your tongue will feel like
So
a
here we
little
go.
bit.
But it's definitely a unique taste. So
Yes.
the skin was firmish. Inside was very soft. Not
That's a
like
good one.
not a lot of sweet going on.
Oh, it should be. It
So-
should sweet.
So I can talk to this because what I think, Eric, is the first time I tried it, I was overwhelmed by the sulfurs in the fruit that I didn't really experience the sweetness either. It very much masks it. It very much masks the sweetness. So, like, what you might have experienced was like this overwhelming sort of oniony or like almost like rotting eggish type of like when the first time you have it, these are the sensations that you get if you're not used to that fruit. It's got compounds in it that Westerners aren't used to eating in a fruit, babe. So despite the fact that it is very sweet and the flavor is very strong, we don't perceive that the first time we eat it.
I don't know. I think like first time I try it,
Yeah.
because when I was born, I never eat it before, right? But I think when I tried first time, I just fall in love with it.
So, for me, I did not experience any of the flavors and sensations that I get today when I eat it. One thing that I will say freaked me out was how warm my throat got the first time I ate it. I felt like I'm like, oh my God, am I having an allergic reaction to this fruit I've never had before?
Possible.
But no, I wasn't. That's part of the experience. It's also very high in caloric density.
Yeah.
So like your body does respond by being like, whoa, what's this? So that's one of the things to think about is that maybe like, so I don't know. I didn't have the one you had. Maybe it's not so sweet. There are some variants of durian that are not sweet. So it also does depend on the species that you had. But you may have just been overwhelmed by the sulfur compounds and like your flavor receptors were like, nope.
It depends on where he got it because sometimes like
Oh yeah, where were you down
when
south,
they're,
Eric?
it's like sometimes when they're like not nice, like they get like the young one and keep it until it's like look like it's ripe, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not ripe. It's just old, so it's soft but not sweet. That's the problem. Like it's very big issue that the government try to like say do not sell young durian.
This is an interesting question from Seth. It says the texture sounds appealing to him, the creaminess.
Okay. Yes, it is.
For me, it wasn't at first. Now it is. But he asked, is it better cold than at room temp?
Oh.
That's a great question.
Well, let's say it never lasts long that I have to put it in fridge.
So I've never tried it, so I can't answer.
Actually, it's good, but well, when you put it in fridge, because of the moisture in fridge, like in the box, in durian box. You always have to put it into the box,
Yeah.
like sealed box. If not, everything in your fridge will smell like durian,
So,
and it's not go away. You have to
this is
clean.
true.
You have to clean your fridge really. So when you put in it, it's kind of like a create like a drop,
Same.
water drop.
Yeah, moisture,
In a
condensation.
And when you open it next day, your durian, like the outside, kind of get wet from that.
So
I don't. That's I don't like. But I remember when I was young, like as I live in a family house, like many of us like
Yeah.
it. So mom will bought like
Whole
the
durian.
whole durian and chop it
Oh,
and
wow.
open it at home. Like sometimes like two, sometimes like mom got one, aunties got one.
Wow.
It's like wow, okay, durian party then, but we're not gonna eat all in one night, right? Then we're gonna die for sure. So I must like not really die, but like too much calorie. So they open it and like put it in a box
Yeah.
and put it in fridge. That's when I try
Cold.
durian in fridge. Yeah, cold durian.
What do you think of the consistency with it being cold? Did you like it, like as a cold
It's like
treat?
you eat ice cream.
Yeah. So like this is what
ice cream.
I kind of think like not keep it overnight, but if you were to keep it like
Chill?
for like 2 hours,
Oh, never try it.
like throw it in the freezer for like 2 hours.
Oh,
Enough
no,
to-
not in freezer.
No, enough to not freeze it, but to get it like ice cold. Right? And then you pull it out and you eat it like an ice cream treat. That could be really nice.
You can try.
But at the same time, it's like, one, you leave it too long, it's ruined.
Yes.
Right? Because it'll crystallize for sure.
It'll kill you.
And two, it won't kill you, but it'll crystallize. But two, or like, what if you took a whole durian plant, put it in the fridge, got that super cold, and then cut it cold?
Then we have to remove almost everything in the fridge out that have enough space for the whole durian.
We'll have to. We'll see. We'll see. I'll try it cold and I'll see. But I like it. I do like it at room temp. Also, it was off a street vendor, packaged on a little tray. With that's pretty common. And they write like the price on the on the
Yes,
tray.
but like some shop good, some shop not. So
Yeah.
we have like our favorite shop that we know that always good.
We know who we're gonna buy it from.
A
who
little
we
bit
like.
more expensive than
Yeah.
other vendor that we random see them
Yeah.
in the market. But with this spot, we know gonna be
Like
right.
I've got my papaya guy. I've got my durian guy. Like when I'm not like especially with durian because it's like it's very expensive for fruit. I'm not gonna just buy from a random dude.
Yeah, it's like what you call like Russian roulette.
Yeah, it
something?
is Russian roulette with your cash
Like
and
you
your
pay
durian.
500 baht, like wow, this one not good.
Okay, in
man.
Bangkok. It depends on the area you were in. Like if you go to where the locals go, like the real Thai,
Oh
It's like-
yeah,
like-
that's gonna be a good one.
like because you can't. Street food is, and even fruit. Street fruit is so competitive because there's so many options.
Yes.
If you're just selling the like bad shit, like
Yes.
you're not gonna be in business. But if you're selling like the real Thai shit, like you're gonna.
So like if they can survive in like a local market,
Yeah.
that means they're good.
So like in our neighborhood, like if I see someone who's been there for years, like I know it's the flavor of the neighborhood, right? This is what the locals eat. They keep that person in business because they're so good.
Yeah.
Whereas like if I go to like a very touristy
Yeah.
neighborhood or like a very farang neighborhood, I might hesitate a bit because especially in a tourist area, like I'm gonna be especially durian in a tourist area, like probably not.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you were, Eric, but like that plays a role as well. Like my number one suggestion to people is if you see locals eating there, like great option to at least try because it will be good.
Remember like with John, the one on Nut, like in front of Nut, that's in the
Yeah.
cart, like from
Oh,
the
yeah.
cart. I was like, I don't know this one. It smells
Yeah.
okay, but when he
Yeah.
tries, it's like, not sweet. Like
Yeah,
I think they
wasn't overwhelming.
get it like a bit young
Yeah.
and let it
Aged
stay
it, yeah.
old. Yeah. So, but when he got it from our favorite spot,
Yeah.
he loves it.
Yeah, this is true. So This is interesting. I've actually heard this before. Toby says his brother-in-law sells durian when it's in season, and has said that Chanthaburi province is the best place to buy it.
Yeah.
So I've heard that actually about a lot of fruits.
Yeah, so
Like-
mangosteen.
Yeah, like Chanthaburi province is like the spot.
Rambutan.
Yeah, rambutan, mangosteen, like all the
Durian.
all the fruits that are like very seasonal here.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about that province as the
Yes.
spot.
True.
Yeah. So I believe that, and actually, Chanthaburi province is for durian is known for like a certain part of the season, right? Because they have like a certain seasonality.
Yeah, they
to
have
it.
like a farm tour with fruit buffet.
Yeah, and we should do that one year after school.
I don't want to get fat.
Just one time.
I know.
We'll ride the scooter out and have a fruit buffet, stay the
too
night,
far,
and ride back.
Too right.
Okay, one day there, take a rest overnight because we ate too much durian and drive back the next day.
If we ride, like I don't think bike can take us back. We will be too heavy.
We have to spend the night, take a laxative, come back the next day. Would love to hear a cold durian report. Could make a good? Yeah, it could be a good short. Is cold durian good? We might do that. We'll see. We'll get like one piece from the next batch and refrigerate for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me ask you guys something, because one of my friends from one of my Thai classes posted online just asking, like, what are must-do things in Bangkok? And I gave her a bunch of suggestions, but I'd like to hear from you guys. Throw it in the chat. What's like a must-do when you're in Bangkok or if you're planning to come for the first time? What's like a thing that you feel like you really want to do, like that's on your list? Because obviously I've lived here for a decade, so like my must-do list is very different, I think, than like someone else who's never been.
Here.
Yeah, and like I've done a lot. Like my opinion has definitely changed over the years, and so I want to hear what you guys say. Auntie, haven't tried smooth durian custard then? It seems like it'd be good for custard. I wasn't overwhelmed by durian. The oniony, garbagey smell is something to get used to. Yeah. Like, especially if you've never smelled it before, it's definitely something to get used to. Magan says pala on his to-do list. Absolutely. Pala is a must-do. And it is on my list, too. So I'm glad to see it's on Greg's as well. Toby says Nana and Cowboy.
Really?
Followed by a bunch of fives, so we know it's a joke. Actually, I would say Cowboy for lunch.
No, it's just like I don't know, you can go to you can go to a real market to have lunch.
Yeah, you can.
They don't have table for you to sit and
but
eat.
it's an interesting place to pop in and see office workers during the day. Like to see real Thais how they eat. BTS MLT guy. Oh, Chris with a 20 Aussie. That's 4 entries for Chris. End of story. Blade Runner. Best of all. Beard shaving, etc., etc. Watch OG, then watch 2049. Get a real story. Blade Runner is definitely the original. Blade Runner is definitely the best.
The one with the young Harrison Ford.
The original Harrison Ford one, yeah. And then the older Harrison.
I never watched that one.
I like them both. 2049 is definitely. I loved it. A lot of people hated it. I loved it. But the original Blade Runner, perfect. Perfect, in my opinion. I got to put down Chris for 4.
Thank you, Chris.
And I'll have to schedule.
I hope that whoever...
We'll schedule in the next day or so.
Get my work, keep it for a long time, and then you can sell it more expensive.
So that's a total of 4 for Chris, I think. Plus I think there's some coffees in there from Chris. I'll have to double check. Yeah, I hope that. We hope that 1, that it will go up in valuation for whoever gets it, but 2, we hope it's something people like. All right, let's see. And thank you again, Chris. And I agree, Blade Runner, greatest of all time. Take a local ferry somewhere on the river, see them milking cobras at the snake farm. Oh, the milking cobras are a good one at the snake farm.
What is milking?
Taking the venom out. They make it bite the glass.
Oh, you can go to see a snake.
Yeah, snake farm.
At
the Red Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what he means.
Oh, okay.
And then
did you try Electric.
The electric. Yeah, have you tried the electric ferry, Eric, on the Chao Phraya? Very quiet. Very nice.
And it's easy.
Yeah. Weed shops.
What?
With a name like McGanj, I'm shocked. I saw a place yesterday while I was walking around it was in Nana, and it's called Weed Hub. And they use the
Okay.
Pornhub logo. So it's the same colors. It just says Weed Hub. It's a small, like I looked in the door. It's the size of a closet, but best branding ever. Let's see. Just point me in the direction of the good Thai wives is on my to-do list, and good, healthy, authentic Thai food. So to find a good Thai wife set, that takes time, right? Definitely don't go to Toby's suggestion of Nana and Cowboy.
Correct.
You won't find what you'll find a wife there, but not a good one.
Go to museum. Go to library.
Yeah, go to some museums, go to some libraries,
Go to art exhibition.
art exhibitions. You know,
Or other charity event.
make some Thai friends, meet their friends. Like,
Yes.
yeah, it works out.
Seriously.
Yeah. You know, try like, some dating apps work out. You know, sometimes. I feel like now, like the dating app scene, different than when we met.
I don't know. I never
Like,
use
it's-
it after we date.
A lot of my friends, obviously, me either, but a lot of my friends today talk about like it's like very much like not. It's very. Oh, what's the right way to say this? There's a lot of subterfuge going on with the photos. I hear from both sides, but I would say like roll the dice. I believe firmly that dating is a numbers game, right? You have to have high volume to find success.
Is that?
Sometimes. Watch them both end to end with the storyboard, then it all makes sense to me. But I've never watched them back to back. I should do that with the storyboard. Okay. Not yet. Check. Yeah, the electric boats, Eric, are
I
fantastic.
think it's 20 baht, but like
Yeah.
you cannot pay by cash. It's only like a QR scan.
Yeah, you have to QR. Oh, that's right. You can't pay by cash anymore. Well, when we did it the first time, we didn't pay. It was
I
still
pay.
free. No, the first time we went, like long ago.
Oh, I
think
don't
it was
know
free.
that.
But yeah, I
Or
think
when
you
we
have
went
to
with John,
scan.
I take care of that.
Yeah. Thai wives and food, top of my list now.
Ah,
Yeah, again, I think that because of the population shift, the population distribution, it's actually, if you're looking for a Thai wife, the numbers are much more in your favor. But if you were a woman coming here looking for a Thai husband, you're gonna have a harder time.
true.
So that's just the reality of the population distribution.
Someone make a infograph joke about the number of male population here, like Thai male. So funny. That's like okay, how many percent are married? How many percent become monk? How many percent stay in jail and how many percent be a gay and maybe it's kind of a very small number, like 2% available for you girls, something like that. So funny. I cannot remember exact number, but I don't know where is that source. But it's funny. Just to say.
Yeah, so there's definitely especially Chris, especially I think for you, if you were looking for a woman who's maybe 40 plus, the opportunity, the pool is actually quite decent. For older Thai women who are not married now, and
or divorce.
or divorce, and quality level could be quite high, and probably much easier to not as much bullshit to deal with.
So
I
you will
think.
get a mature.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
lady.
if you zoom into that 40 plus range, the bullshit level goes way down, and the quality of the pool goes way up, in my opinion. Oh, this is Smoke Dev says I saw a shrimp restaurant somewhere named Prawn Hub.
Oh,
That's amazing. That is amazing.
okay.
That
Sounds right.
I would go there, Prawn Hub. Thai massage, definitely on the top of the list too.
Thai massage. What pose style? And you will cry.
Iron fisted auntie.
And you will cry.
Dipping her hands into molten hot, BBs.
You pay double to make auntie stop.
And then she, yeah, like, please stop, I'm done. I don't want the full hour. Muay Thai class, definitely on the list as well.
Ah.
Definitely on the list.
Get kicked by บัวขาว ไหม
It was one of, probably makes sense. Yeah, you'd have to pay a lot more money to get kicked by Blue Cow, for sure.
Do you want
Than
to?
just one. I do not want to. It's I display its art on the moon base, Auntie Jibs. Auntie Jibs art on the moon base. Someday.
โอ้ย
Dating apps predominantly used by working ladies now. Ooh.
Oh,
Is that you?
okay.
That's part of what I meant. I think that's.
So there's
I think
maybe
that's a
call
lot
it
of
a
it.
sideline job. I think.
I think a lot of action going on there as well. Yeah.
So maybe it's lucky that we met
Yep.
long ago.
Pre-boom.
That like, actually, one of my friends
Yeah.
that she married with the Dutch guy.
Mhm.
They met online also.
Yeah.
Like because we all work, like we
Yeah.
work. Like okay,
Jib
lunchtime check on the message and
The hardest thing about dating Jib was actually being able to set up a time where we could meet and have a date. Because she worked at the university, plus she had a second job and her side hustle of making crochet dolls at the time. So it was like no time to meet at all. I ended up we met after you got out of work on a weekend at Terminal 21.
yes,
And like that was our first date.
Yes.
And like you were exhausted because you had worked all day.
yeah.
Yeah. So like it's like those are some of the challenges. And like yeah, I think Toby's right. Like the apps are predominantly dominated by non-serious daters, we'll call them. So water monoliths at Lumpini Park, definitely
You
some
can
monsters.
see a lot.
Yeah.
Did you visit the park yet? Oh, now they have the festival
At the park?
that I told you that we're gonna go last week.
Oh,
and we
but it's
never-
over, you said.
this weekend. Like tomorrow is the last day.
Oh, I thought it ended last week, or I said, oh, I would have gone this
No.
week. Oh, that's my bad. Yeah, definitely water monitors, quite good. Quite awesome, especially if you see the big ones, big ones, like alligator size.
Oh, I don't think they keep the one that big in the park.
No, eventually it's there until they catch it.
Maybe they don't see it yet.
Yeah. Mahidone Institute of Nutrition.
No,
they have
no one like catch it.
That one's big. I got up close and personal with that one. The new Forest Park is amazing. Yeah. And Thai Wife, also an idea. Yeah, see, Thai Wife is going to the top of everyone's list,
Oh, that's good.
right? The popular thing. But yeah, the Forest Park is pretty epic. Kind of humid though when we've been there.
If you walk now, it's not humid.
Yeah, well, right now it's so nice.
It's
in Bangkok.
winter.
Yeah. Population distribution. I'm on the next plate. I want to say it's like 46, 54, or something crazy like that. And like Jim said,
So it's like more women than men.
yeah,
here.
it might even be greater than 46, 54.
I think more than because like seems like we have like more of a gay guy that like they show like okay I'm gay I'm not gonna get a girl.
Seth, thank you, man. I'm gonna add you in for
Thank
2
you,
entries.
Seth.
Dano and Jibby.
Chibi. Like old time, like my parents' time, even they gay.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, get married, have children,
Yeah.
have like happy family here, but they have kind of like a,
Side dude.
yeah, but now it's like, okay, I'm gay, I'm not going to marry girl.
I think yeah. So that doesn't the distribution doesn't take into account the gay population, which seems to be rather high in Thailand at the moment, or at least visibly high. But at the same time, like again, I think it bodes well if you want to live here and you want to meet a Thai woman and be married, then it bodes
Yes,
well for you.
again, guys who ever want to have Thai wife, please go to like real activity. They'll have like a Thai join it, and you will meet like Thai girls who speak English
Yeah.
there, and they really like they have a job, and they have like they just spend like weekend like okay to group that maybe like pick the trash from the beach or help the kids in like a poor area. If you go to activity like that, you will get to know good girls, you know.
So I've heard this is true. I 100% say like Jib's advice here is solid. Like if what you want is to meet, like quality people, quality women, like go to activities where those women would be. Don't go to, and I've unfortunately met people multiple times who have met women that were working at the establishments where you can check them out from, and fallen in love and gotten wrapped up in that type of life, and then that all comes crashing down because it's built on ignorance, like willful ignorance of the situation. I would say, is that a good way to explain it on the guy's part? The relationship from the guy's perspective is built on them convincing themselves that, oh, this girl really likes me, or I'm okay with what she did, or it was her first day and that's fine. Like I've met two people who explained to me that they met a girl on her first day at a bar and then fell in love. And both of them found out that it was very much not her first day at the bar. And, it becomes devastating. And so if you want to meet someone who you are compatible with and that you want to spend a long time with, that's not where you go. You go to, like you said, like Jim said, if you want to live near a beach, go to a beach cleanup. You'll meet locals who come out and do that. Go to local cafes and get to know people. Go to like local restaurants and meet people. Like go out and go to networking events. Mm-hmm. Go out for drinks with, people who you meet. I'll play. One of my friends goes to running events like every weekend. He knows tons of the Thai people he knows through those running events are like more than I've ever met in 10 years in Thailand.
So let's say for the girls, I think for the girls who like have like night job,
yeah,
they don't spend time like in the day to like other activity because they must be sleep, right?
Recovering from all the drinking
and
they were doing
then
at
like
their night
they
job.
wake up like evening and go to work again. So if you go out daytime to activity,
Yeah.
you will see like girl who like wake up at 6, go to work every day, something like that. So
8-foot
different.
monitor lizard at Lumpini.
Huh?
2.5 meters.
No, I never see that big. Whoa.
Hey, Eric says good advice on the dating.
You're welcome.
Awareness rally coming to America style.
What?
So save them poppy.
ผู้หญิง ผู้หญิง
Puying.
You know ผู้หญิง what's that mean?
Oh, I do know Puying actually.
What?
Nothing.
ผู้หญิง is a female.
Yeah, I know. You can't wife up a beer bar girl first day. Yeah. So many people convince themselves that those stories are true, and that can be very painful to watch.
When you get into a situation like that, please think about Pretty Woman movie.
So I knew a guy. He told me, he's like, oh, I met her on her first day at the bar, and I knew that it was her first day because she was the most expensive girl at the bar. And I asked him, I was like, when have you ever started a job as the highest paid employee? And he looked at me with this utter look of disgust in his face, like I just shattered his reality. And just like he did not want to hear it at all. Okay, please send the Jibster info on meeting real Thai women via line messenger. If you want to meet good Thai women, go to Pattaya and look for a lady with many tattoos.
What?
I'm sure there are tattoo enthusiast women who live in Pattaya who are not involved in that scene, Toby, for sure.
I think now it's like more acceptable that like women will have a tattoo.
Yeah.
It depends on like like your job. Like if
Yeah.
you work in the medical area, unlikely to have it. Or if you have it like where it's not show when you work, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like maybe on your back, right?
Mm.
No one can see it. But when you have weekend, you can wear like something that can show it. That's fine. But like for the freelancer, I saw more and more of like girls have tattoos show out, and they work.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of I know a lot of Thai women who have visible tattoos that work in offices. Like so that's why I say I think like
If you work in like creative area,
Yeah.
like what, like a creative agency, that style, no problem.
yeah, I think it's
But airline, no,
none at all, or at the palace none at all, right?
no.
Not even unvisible.
I don't know if they check or not.
No, but they told you that's the rule.
Yes, but who get in there before new rule? Okay, but
Yeah.
if they're gonna get a new staff, like
For sure. Seth asks, what's the best way to support creators without YouTube taking a cut? That's a good question. So we used to do the buy me a coffee. We still have it, but I know it's difficult they changed their payment policy. So that it's a little bit more challenging for creators, for people to make payments actually. And actually it's difficult for some people to take the money out. Like it's complicated.
oh,
One of the things that we're gonna start a Patreon for the channel, Seth, after the movie drops, after the documentary about the ghost tower, and what we're planning to do is more behind the scenes type stuff on the Patreon, and then more of like the short documentaries and everything on the channel along with the live stream. So there'll be more behind the scenes. A lot more like behind the scene photos, short videos on the Patreon, and we're working on the packages now for it. And then there'll be one super level that will be limited to a few people that want to have like full size pieces of Jibs art, like yearly. We talked about the Patreon where like we could do like a few really high levels, like could get like an A0 piece from you every year.
I think I can do better after I graduate, because like, so the angel one that you saw, that just is the second piece
Yeah.
for the like end of the chapter, the learning chapter. I think we have like 3 more to go. So at the end of the
Yeah. But that's
class
what
will be like,
we were talking about, like having like a limited number of like top level supporters that could get your art like
Yeah.
yearly. But again, we're working out the details now. I'm still struggling through the edit. Like the edit, it's gonna be like I said, it's over an hour, and like cutting in all of the pieces now and like dialing the style, and then I've got to go to sound design. Oh, actually, one of the things that I'll share on the stream, I haven't posted it out publicly yet. I re-edited the Khao Yai video and the Life of Sukhumvit video, and submitted them to 2 different film festivals. And I just got word back that the Khao Yai video was the first one that's been decided on. It's official selection in one of the film festivals. So I'm super excited, like more than I could have hoped for, to actually be official selection in a film festival for one of my shorts. So it's a official selection for best documentary consideration, which I'm super excited about. Yeah. And that's one of the ones, like that and Sukhumvit were like really the 2 videos that made me want to shift my focus into more documentary storytelling on the channel, because I really enjoyed them. And so when I went back in and did the re-edit, we took out a lot of the vloggy type stuff that was in them and changed a little bit of the voiceover and remixed it and uploaded it, submitted for consideration. And yeah, it's a great experience to get the first one to be like a official selection. Now have to see, like, maybe I win something. Who knows?
people will
But
see your beard more and more.
it's funny how much lately people. I might have told this story last week. I was going to a meeting and I left a restaurant on Soy 11.
Yes.
And someone recognized me.
Yes, like an Australian,
Yeah.
right?
I was like, oh wow.
He called you mate, right?
No. This is that was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
This was last week.
Okay.
It was an American guy.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, the other day, Australian guy. All right, mate. Dana, right? was like,
Cute.
But really thick Australian accent.
So
No.
you should learn from him in case that next time there's like a origin Australian accent again that
Yeah.
you miss the two that
Yeah.
you cannot.
Yeah, if I missed the chance to.
Yes.
But yeah, no, really thick accent, really thick Australian accent. A few beers in him, I think, maybe, but that's okay. He seemed to be on vacation. So, too much laughs going on. Name a product that gives value with use and age. I use a Thai-based investigator to do background checks. I'm serious about landing a legit partner and thus careful. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, like if you really want a partner, like I really, Jib is my partner in life, like in everything we do, like not just my wife, and even before that, like not just my girlfriend, like we were always, like our relationship was very much like a partnership from the beginning. And I think it just takes time to flush that out. But yeah, like again, like I think was it your comment? Oh no, it was Eric that said, yeah, you walk into one of those bars and your frontal lobe shuts down. For a lot of guys, that is the case. And I think a lot of people go into those places with one expectation and leave with another. Right? Like, and again, there's alcohol and lust and all these things involved. So, yeah. Thai-based investigator, background checks, that's one way to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you do it to me?
No. No, I didn't need to. I was a broke student when we met, so if you were after me for something else, you were making poor choices. Chris getting cheeky. Christmas end, do check out the Thai Fitspo scene. Thai Fitspo.
What is this?
I have no idea. Thank you, man. Thank you, Seth. Much appreciated. Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's been like, it was like, again, it was like a quick re-edit. Like, I thought, like, what would make this more focused as a documentary? Let me throw that out there and, see what happens. And, yeah, this is cool. It's a small indie festival, but again, you got to start somewhere. And it was a small, short project. The Ghost Tower one, I hope to submit that to a few as well and get it out there. And then I've got the 50-kilometer one coming up that I hope to, again, get edited and submit as well. I think the 50 kilometers across Bangkok will be, I hope, if it matches the vision, if I don't die this attempt, if I make it through the whole 50, which I think I will this time. Yeah. I think like I've got a content plan for next year that it's less content next year, but it's more, there's so much more effort being put into each of the projects. And my collaborators who I've got lined up, I think will really, really help elevate everything. So, and Jib graduates in March.
I think.
And then goes into year 2.
I think.
But Jib found out she's going to have to wear her uniform again for year 2.
I'm not sure yet because we are the point to the teachers that next year, the head of teacher this year gonna become like a promote to another position that he cannot teach.
Okay.
So he gonna do like kind of a more of like a management,
Like administration.
something like higher level.
Yeah.
So he cannot teach anymore next year. So only 2 teachers available in the class, which is who gonna take care of year 2.
Yeah.
Then that's the question. Which is the young teacher, he is like not much experience of teaching because
a year
only
younger than Jib.
Yeah, because he first year like this year. So we're not gonna be able to like explain everything smooth, same as the head teacher.
Yeah.
So who's gonna be like the leader of the class next year will become a Hanuman teacher, which is actually he's the one who take care of the year 2, year 3 student this year. So we have a question like how they're gonna run it next year. We wait to hear from them.
So no, hopefully don't have to wear a uniform and your feet get a break from the shoes.
Maybe I have to get new shoes.
Yeah,
Now my heels hurt.
Oh, it's not enough padding left. Yeah, Jibs. So that's 2 years with those shoes, right? 2 school years. So like 4 years total, 3 years total. You had a year between embroidery and almost a full year. So it's I think for Jib, like those shoes have been rough. And
And I
like
walk a lot.
there was a few times where it was like water was like 50 centimeters and
But I don't always chill with that. But like when it's rain, not flood, it's just rain, shoes already get wet.
yeah. So hopefully you can go to sneakers next year. Would
Let's
be good.
hope.
Would be good. Oh, Chris's message is gone. Sorry. Missed one, Chris. Many of the people that were worried about gold diggers don't have enough gold to... Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very true. And like I said, when I met Jib, I was a PhD student. So I was living in like the worst place possible. Not the worst place. My old apartment. It's not the
It's
worst.
okay.
It's a bad location.
Not bad for the people who work there.
No,
you know?
yeah, for the people who worked at the hospital, for me going to the university, good location.
Yes.
But like overall, like if you were gonna pick some place to live, that wouldn't be in your top 100. Like that area.
Well, the price is good.
Yeah, it was less than $100 a month. I mean, it was not bad at all. But yes, thank you, Eric. Much appreciated. Yeah, like I said, I'm excited about that direction of creating more documentary stuff, doing more documentary storytelling, and really just dialing it in. So again, this edit has been an absolute beast though on the documentary about the ghost tower. It's like when you're cutting things too. Like I'm trying to. When I go through the interviews, the other thing that's going to be on the Patreon when we do launch it, and we'll do it like an official announcement when it's ready. Like we plan to launch it after the Ghost Tower video drops, so you guys can see like the what the new direction is, like the overall new direction of the channel with the documentary stuff. But I'll say like we're also going to put like the unedited interviews on there as well. So I did most of these interviews for this documentary online because a lot of the people were remote. So that was part of it. But then when I'm editing the interviews down too, it's like, all right, does this need to be in the documentary to tell this story? Like, and you get to the point where with the edit, I'm struggling a lot of times. Like, God, this is a really interesting point. Right, like I love this point about that he just brought up, but it's like, does it push the narrative? And you're like, maybe no. And I think like restraint is an important part of telling the right story. So, and it's like, God, I would love to put this in, but it's a sidetrack and it doesn't necessarily push the narrative of the story forward, and it takes away from the it being better as a whole. So I think like that constraint is good, or that restraint is good in the edit process versus like I would love to just lay everything down, but I'd have a 6-hour film right about a building in a financial crisis that doesn't make sense to have. So it's like the nice part is to have the Patreon to put like all these unedited things where people can watch them. And it also, like, the other thing of that is YouTube is so data driven. Like, I'm already fighting against the system by like not putting 3 crappy videos a week that people will watch.
Oh, they set up like 3?
Like not 3, but like the more content you put, the more YouTube recommends your channel. Right? This is like the whole fight with the algorithm, but at the same time, there's nowhere where more people can potentially see your work, your video work, than YouTube. Right, for the average creator. So it's the right place to be, and we're fortunate that we have like a lot of you guys as our audience. Like, our audience is amazing. Our core group, the guys who come on these live streams every week, the guys and girls. We have some women who come on every week and take part and join in and be part of the conversation. We absolutely love that, and so we'll continue to do the live streams.
So maybe for the Patreon, we are kind of make short like what we gonna tell friend, like not really have to, oh, we have filmed this, edit that, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this restaurant is nice, and like we just show like,
Yeah.
oh, come, how to come here, or whatever, like interesting, just like short, like what you're gonna talk to friend because they're friends, you know.
Yeah, I think it'll also be interesting for the like the behind the scenes like bloopers and stuff, like stuff we're filming is like, oh yeah, no, that won't make the edit, but it'd be good. That's like the type of stuff to like go be fun to put into something, or like, oh, like, hey, we're about to film this, like this is what it looks like to get ready, like unpacking, like the back. You guys can see you can't see the Sony behind me, like traveling with that big rig and everything, and some of those things are fun to share, like, and it won't do as well on the channel, but something you can share like to the Patreon.
I feel like more comfortable with that,
Yeah.
like, because share it on YouTube, sometimes you'll see some not nice comment, and
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
well, it's different from like, oh, you call your friend and you talk about something. It's, that they're your friends.
Yeah.
They're not gonna hurt you, right? I feel like, oh, I would like to share to this type of people.
It's definitely a place
more
where
than,
we can
like,
share like less controlled content, like you said, like more personal looks at some of the things, especially like some of the
Yeah.
behind the scenes. Where it's weird, like some of the the stuff doesn't bother me. I know that Jib's skin is not as thick as my own, but like there's definitely, and you got like anytime I have a video that does slightly well, there's quite a bit of negativity that comes in, and a lot of you guys who are like channel moderators, and like I go through myself and I'll block people who make inappropriate comments, but there's a lot of that. And actually, it's funny now too on YouTube. There's a lot of spammy type stuff, like I see like in videos like fake accounts responding like, hey, respond to my WhatsApp, come and join my get private, win my thing. Or anytime like there's a live stream and we talk about like life in Thailand, there'll always be comments that pop up like, hey, free sex show, or meet Thai women, and the locals near you now. Like most of you guys get that shut down if it pops into the live chat, but usually I leave the chats live for like a few days before we make them private for the members only. And there's definitely like comments that come in where they're trying to like hey, meet Thai women. And I've got probably 1,000 of those channels blocked now. Let's see, where were we? Oh, Anti-Dana pops up. What's the doing the walk? I need to hire robotics to spot the dogs to chase me. Oh, when? So it'll be in January. First 2 weeks of January for sure is when that will happen. Yeah, that's the plan. Oh, Chris re-upped on Ideator. Somehow it says new member, but it's a renewal because Chris has been a member. Chris is an OG
Yes.
member. There's a bunch of you guys like Stuck and Chris and Joe and Poe on the Go. Like you guys have been connected. You guys have been members forever. I love it. Thank you for the support on that, guys. And I think the membership will always stay like the price it's at, where it's at, because it's more about like the people who want to have like the emojis and stuff like that to use, and we appreciate that, and it gives you the badge, which we like. Dana collect baseball. I did as a kid, but I didn't even really like baseball. It was just like something everyone did. I don't even know if I had any good ones. I never liked baseball. I've always thought it was a boring sport. I've been to dozens of live games, which I like any sport to watch live. Maybe not cricket, because I think those are like days long.
Huh?
Right? Yeah, like some cricket games can be like days.
Too long.
So yeah, that's a bit too long. But even like baseball is pushing my upper limit of my like. But
How long for basketball?
Basketball is quick, couple hours.
Baseball.
It could be 6 hours. Like yeah, like some because there's no timer. It's based on like outs. So
Okay, so depend on score.
not even so. Like each
What out?
inning, like you have to like strike out or like get people out, and there's no timer on a play. So baseball you can drag.
Could be like whole day.
Could be a whole day. I've been
So
to
you
6 hour.
sit there, having lunch there, and then dinner,
And then they take a break
and then
at the 7.
supper.
So yeah, I've been to baseball games that are hours long. hours long. 6 hours, 7 hours.
So I can knit like a sweater.
Oh,
in
eat 2
the-
sweaters. And most people are drinking beer the whole time.
No, and how can
Yeah.
they drive back home?
Very questionably. Very questionably.
Right in US, you have to drive.
Yeah, especially for most stadiums, you have to
Yeah,
drive to
right.
them. Yeah, it's a
Huh.
thing. It's a thing. But yeah, no, I was never a fan of baseball. I never liked collecting things. I say that as a guy who has 30 cameras,
And 10 sewing machines.
and 10 sewing machines, and the two of us have thousands of books.
No, 1,000, maybe 400.
Yours are thousands for
No,
sure.
no,
Those
no,
little
no.
skinny knitting books.
No,
It's
no.
not just what's behind us, guys. Like that's the tip of the iceberg for Jibs books. My books are like the top shelf, a couple sprinkled into the other shelves. There's another bookshelf on the stairway. There's books
That's
upstairs. Books everywhere. And how many you still have at home?
No,
At your parents' house?
no.
No, none?
I moved
Okay.
all
Okay.
there.
Thousands.
So
thousands.
you will know the day that I would like to break up with you, you won't see any book left in the house.
You can't move them all in one day, so I'll have advance warning. You're always going to have a few of those. There's always people who, and I'm open to criticism. Like I'm very much about I'm very much okay with criticism on my work, right? Like if it's criticism about my work or about things that the creative choices I've made, I'm open to that. Always have been, always will be. It's the things that are like petty bullshit personal attacks on. If it's on me, I don't care. But a lot of times it's like very uneducated comments about Jib or about our relationship, like things like that from people who are clearly ignorant about us or about life
people
here.
who-
Like
Doesn't know us.
yeah, and look, I don't need that, so they get blocked, or like hidden from the channel is like the feature that it's called in YouTube, like hide this user from the channel. So that list is huge on my dashboard, right there. Like I just don't need those people. I don't want that negativity. And look, you can watch the videos, you can leave a comment, just no one's ever gonna see it, and I love that feature. And it's great. Like I don't have to know like thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. I don't care. YouTube doesn't show the numbers anymore publicly. We can see them privately. I think there's like every video I have has at least 1 thumbs down, right? Or like,
Okay.
and most of you get a couple. Right? It's not a big deal, right? But it's like the ignorance of comments that is just like, yeah, okay. Like you want to make a stupid comment, boop, hidden from channel, done, good to go. 8 hours, Jib. More people love your channel than not. Don't stop. Yeah, no, trust me, Craig. We're definitely not stopping. Like I said, like I said, the hide user from channel feature is great. And again, Jib and I are both very big on critique as well. Like we both accept criticism creatively
Yeah.
all the time, very well. We seek it out even. And
Critique with manner.
yeah, critique constructively, right? The same that we do for people. Stupid YouTube keeps disconnecting me. I'll pay cash when I get it. We love you, Chris. We're waiting for you to get here, man. Come on.
When you gonna come here? It is almost New Year.
Yeah, soon. I know he's in the last stages. Baseball and cricket, lame. Yeah, let's get it done now. Right? Like, this is the thing. Like, baseball, also, it feels like, I understand people who love baseball, like, especially, like, they're very statistics driven, and they love, like, the length of the game. To me, like, having a timer makes stakes. Like, in basketball, same in fighting, right? Like, you go into the last round of a fight. In an MMA fight, you have 5 minutes, right? In boxing, 3 minutes, right? Like, you have to get it done. Those stakes of the clock, I think, change a sport completely. Like, same thing with soccer or, football.
Football.
Football. Soccer or American football, I hate. The clock doesn't even matter. They have so many times out, ways to stop the clock.
Rugby.
Rugby, I love. Like the clock adds drama, adds suspense, adds stakes to a game. Baseball, cricket, there's no time. Like you could be there for days.
Oh, I remember like mom and I watched tennis,
Yeah,
and it's like 4 hours.
yeah.
Oh my god! It's like fall asleep.
Tennis, no time.
I was like, ah.
Tennis games are usually quick, but they play multiple sets.
So it's depend
right?
like in like a deeper round, they
Yeah.
kind of like they both good. So the score is kind of like even, and like that's a rule that like they have to beat each other until like a 2+, something like that. It's like 4 hours.
Bill's the same way with the Hyde user channel. Boom, like
okay.
one and done, baby, one and done. Yeah, like, that function is great. It's there for a reason. I use it all the time. Try not to take those into. Yeah, no, I definitely don't. Like I know, like I said, if Jibs saw some of them, she'd be a little hurt by them. And that's why like I'm the one who moderates the channel 99% of the time. And if there's a bullshit, usually Jib will see some of the comments on new videos before me because I like to post it and just sort of like do whatever.
Because I wake up before you.
This is true too. But like like I said, 99% of the time, it's just like, yeah, whatever, dude. People, and I think we're both old enough to know like people who say those things are just trolls and idiots. Like they don't have real opinions. They just want to go out and say stupid shit.
I feel like people should be good to each other.
Yeah, and we should be. And I have friends like, like some of my friends are people who are online and get crazy comments, like Tony, right? Like people who say and do things that are insane. But like you've got to put yourself around people who are definitely outside your comfort zone and are creative and interesting and intelligent also, right? Like trolls don't fit that description though. I like the idea of baseball if bases are loaded with a close score. Yeah, with a close score. I mean, baseball is an all-American thing, Seth, right? It's hard to... When I've been to live games, I do enjoy it, but when they stretch on, especially you get into overtime, like, games stretch, and, like, it feels... When a game's quick, like, you're in and out, that's a great baseball game for me. When I'm there for 6 hours.
Like 6 hours doesn't mean like what if you have like appointment with friends?
No. If you paid for tickets to a game, you're not making an appointment with friends.
Like the whole day.
The whole day's gone. You're going to the game, and then if you're in an urban game, like Cleveland was actually kind of nice because you could take a bus home.
Oh, okay.
Right, or like you could like walk and get a train or get an Uber. And like to all those games. So if you want to have a few beers after the game with friends or go to dinner nearby and then take an Uber home later, could. When I lived in Rhode Island, like I had to travel into Massachusetts in a Patriots game. Not that I could afford to go to a Patriots game when I lived in Rhode Island as an adult because they were already like dynasty Super Bowl champions, like thousands of dollar tickets. Like, yeah, some sports teams have crazy pricing. When I lived in Boston in the 90s, like Boston Red Sox as a team were not very good. You could go to a day game after first pitch for like $5-10. You just walk up to the gate because games wouldn't sell out. So you could walk up to the gate and be like, hey, how much to go in? First pitch is already done. There you go, $5. Boom, boom, boom. Just sit wherever you want. And there was a bar right next to the Fenway Park that you could go to, and they'd be full of people. And like as soon as the game starts, everyone's like, "Oh, check, we're closing out the tab," right? And as soon as the first pitch is thrown, you down the beer and you walk to the gate.
Ah.
Yeah, and so there'd be like 50 people walking down Lansdowne Street to get to the gate of Fenway Park. So I mean, that's like sometimes that's part, and also like Fenway's in the city. Like I could walk home from Fenway.
Oh, okay.
So if I drank 30 beer, not that I could afford.
So it's like a national stadium here that you can take train back home.
National stadium. So, but also like I was in the 90s, I couldn't afford to drink like 2 beers at the baseball game, let alone 30. But like I was a poor kid in the 90s, right? Like I was working as a bike messenger, like, and I had a startup a few years later. Like I definitely had less money than I had when I was working full time. So like and things at games are expensive. You buy a pretzel, it's like $5, like 150 baht. Like you buy a beer, it's like $8. This is the 90s, right? Those prices are crazy.
Oh.
So, and actually, Eric, Minority Nomad, other great Thailand YouTuber, he's at Wonder Fruit Festival this weekend. I think he spent 15,000 baht for his ticket, paid another 1,500 baht for bus service
Okay.
from his hotel, from a pickup point in Pattaya to the festival.
Yeah.
And he's spending, I think, 3,000 to 5,000 baht a day on food and drink in the festival. It's crazy expensive. The first night he was there, one of the bars, you had to buy a cup for 650 baht to then buy a 300 baht beer.
Okay.
So, like,
Expensive.
you had to buy their cup to then buy their beer. It was crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cup should come with beer and then
So-
refill. Okay, you pay another
Yeah,
beer.
but, like, it's a metal, like a reusable metal cup. But
No, I mean like you buy cup that come with beer, and then if you want the second beer, you just pay for the beer price,
I
not
get,
the cup.
well, yeah, that's the thing. So you buy the cup once, but it's 650 baht. Pretty, like, festivals are expensive. That's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Not a big sport. Yeah, I'm not a huge sports guy. Like, I watch some of the World Cup
I was.
highlights. I used to be a pro fighter, so like I still watch fighting, but I'm so like, I think the pandemic kind of like, I stopped really following MMA hardcore during the pandemic. And like now, like I watch only big fights. I don't follow guys on the undercard, or I used to follow regional circuits. I knew if there was a hot fighter in Malaysia, I knew who they were. If there was a hot guy in the Philippines, I knew who he was. Like I was that much into it. I was following regional websites. Now, not so much. Now I'm just, like, hey, big fight this weekend. I'm going to watch it. I'm super casual about sports.
I
And-
used to be like really love badminton.
Yeah, and Jib still, like any racket sport, Jib can kick my ass. Like with
Not now.
still now, like you could kick my ass at any racket sport.
No.
Ping pong, maybe
Long
tennis,
ago.
because there's power involved. I could get an edge, but like ping pong, I can't beat Jib. Like I think I beat Jib once out of hundreds of times we played.
Do you ever?
Yeah,
beat
one
me?
time. One time I got you by a
Are
point.
you sure?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
at Golfview.
When
Yeah,
was that?
at Golfview.
Huh?
I got you by. I remember clearly because this is the one time I got you by a point.
Okay.
Every other time, Jib has wiped the floor with me.
Okay.
And Jib always says, because I'm so wide, right, she can hit it straight down the middle, and I can't move quick enough to get to
That's a
it.
trick.
In badminton, not even. It was ridiculous. It was a crime how bad Jib beat me in badminton when we played. So I think like maybe like a racket sport that power becomes an advantage. Squash and tennis, I could probably get, if I trained, I could get an advantage on you, for sure. But otherwise, there's no power advantage in badminton.
It is.
Not real. Not like I can't like
Power of the wrist.
like I can't smash it to a point where like
It is.
because the aerodynamics of the, what do you call it?
It depends on the shoulder and
What do you
wrist.
call the shuttlecock?
Uh,
The aerodynamics of that, like I just can't smash it hard enough to make
because
it,
you didn't train.
because your reflexes can overcome it. I'm telling you, like tennis though, where it's a big hard ball, and I can power through aerodynamics.
I got A
got
from
you.
that too. From that class.
Or racquetball, where you can make contact with the other person.
Huh?
Yeah, you can nudge.
Huh?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. You can make contact. Yes, in racquetball.
What racket?
The one where you're in the room.
Squash.
Racquetball, it's squash, yeah. You can make contact with the other person.
No,
Yeah.
not fair. No.
Fair. But that's why it's separated into men's and women's leagues. Morning from Idaho. Oh, talking to Bill. Yeah, Bill's got a great job. I love Bill's storytelling now with the true crime. Damn, if the glasses died here, I hope you get the last message. Oh, fiber's out. All right, lights back.
Huh.
Better in the... Man, is it really that spotty where you're at, Chris? Last question. If you had to recommend a decent lower end to mid-range camera for someone just getting into videography, would you have a recommendation?
Sony?
Yeah, the FX30 seems like a good option because it's cheap. It's not cheap. I would definitely recommend
Sony, that
Sony.
you have the small one?
Yeah. Like there's a smaller version there's a baby version of this, an APS-C version of this, yeah.
I thought you mean that one, small.
Oh yeah, this one too. Like, if you want to do it professionally though, like I think he's asking like
Oh.
so Seth, if you want to just do like, if you're just learning like so I'll agree with Jib. If you're just learning like cinematography and learning how to shoot and compose shots, ZV-1 all day. It fits in your pocket. It's a point and shoot. It's less than $1,000. You don't need to buy lenses, and then you can buy like a very affordable microphone, like a Rode Video Go, and you can make like really good quality films with this, and very flexible. Now, is it perfect? No, obviously not. No camera is perfect.
That's why you keep buying new
Yes.
camera.
So, so if you want to just shoot stuff like this, I added the cage to it because my hand is beefy. You don't necessarily need to, but that gave me the ability to add a top handle.
Normal hand.
Yeah, so a normal hand like Jibs versus mine, which having this little handle gives me a little bit more purchase on the grip. So the ZV-1 is a great camera to start with. Fits in your pocket. You can shoot great looking images with it. That 1-inch stack sensor punches way above its weight class, Seth. And you can make great video with it. And it has that defocus mode to help blur out the background. Now, what you're not learning with it, like with this camera, you're not learning like how to control your exposure as much because it's much more a manual camera, an automatic camera. I set it on shutter priority, so I manually set my shutter so that I don't get weird like motion blur and stuff. And then I added an adapter, so I got the Zome wide angle lens if I want to get something super wide. And I can also thread ND filters onto that adapter. So again, not a perfect camera, but damn, it's a great beginner camera. Are you going to book paying work with this? No, but you're probably not going to book paying work when you're just starting out anyway. This is a great camera to learn on. The next recommendation up from this, from me, if you're just focused on videography, would be the FX30, which is the baby version of my FX3. And you can get that camera for, I want to say it's $1,800 for the body. So it's cheaper. It's not cheap, but it's cheaper. And then you can get Sigma lenses, like the Sigma 2470s, like just over $1,000. And that camera with that lens will give you a great camera to shoot with and start to learn manual exposure. And if you want to capture really clean audio, you can add the top handle for a few $100s, and that gives you XLR inputs. Same top handle that's on my camera now. That it comes with the FX3. It doesn't. I don't think it comes with the FX30. At least I haven't seen it packaged as that. And then you just start to build out. If you want to be more hybrid of a shooter, the Sony a7 III, and then you can build the cage around that. So, the a7 III is essentially the same as my FX3 internally, except the FX3 has been switched out to have a more video-focused body and more video-focused features. Whereas with the a7 III, you can more naturally take photos. So, I mean, it just... there's a growth pattern, but if you just want to learn, straight up, ZV-1 is a great way to just learn how to compose a shot, how to shoot well, focus on your editing, and capturing really nice quality images versus like a full out video rig like my FX3, which it would be overkill if you're just learning. Even the FX30 would be overkill as like your first camera, simply for the fact that it is like way technical of a camera. And then you start to get into things like ND filters, variable NDs, map boxes, things like that. Different audio components, external batteries. I've got my V-mount charging up here, which is like now my power bank for when I go out. External monitors, blah, blah. Like, I think it's, if you're just starting out, don't make it as much about the kit as you make it about the skills and learning the skills. Like, I started shooting, my very first camera was, well, I had that video camera, right, at first, the Panasonic video camera.
You have the white one?
I bought the white Sony after that. I want to say my first interchangeable lens camera was the A5000, the white version, which was like, had no audio input. It had, this is 8 years ago, 7 years ago. Yeah. And, I switched between that and my Panasonic video camera a lot. I didn't really understand the difference in like color science, but I was just learning how to shoot. And then I switched to I bought
If you go back to like see like old video, you will see like how it's like shake or not good voice.
Not good framing. The audio is really bad. It's shaky. Like there's definitely, like I definitely shot a lot of stuff like where I was still learning, and it's a quality of shoot that I wouldn't put out today, but also like it was an important process for me to go through to learn, right? So it was definitely part of it, Seth, like that learning process of learning how to shoot. And then when I moved from the Sony, which was really, I was still shooting in full auto at the time with the Sony A5000. And then I had my Panasonic. I forget the brand of the video camera. I still have it upstairs. I got a Canon 80D, and that is when I learned how to start to shoot in manual and how to set my exposure properly and really dial things in. And all of that over years and years and years is what led to me like being able to shoot with more technical cameras. So yeah, ZV-1 is a great option, man. Like cheap, especially if you get it on sale, and then adding a top handle gives you the ability to really like control it, get different types of shots. Adding the ability to, it's got built-in ND actually. This has a 3-stop or 1-stop of ND built in. So like you can even throw on additional ND filters. But yeah, great camera to learn how to shoot on. For sure. And you can set exposure manually with it. It's just not so intuitive, like the controls. So I like Sean O'Malley, Patty the Batty, Bryce Mitchell, maybe a couple others that are not overly interested in many fights. Most fighters I like are, a lot of like the fighters I know, like guys I grew up with, are retired or are retiring. Ninth cutout. But yeah, the sport is. I love the sport of MMA. I love watching a lot of the new fighters too. But now like the business side of it too, like the drama with Francis Ngannou renewing his contract is really interesting to me. The way One Championship is trying to wedge its way into the conversation as a top 3 promotion is interesting. You know, the interesting thing about the fight game too is there's always someone else about to come up. Like I really like Christian Lee in One Championship, one of my favorite fighters. Like when he beat Daggy as a replacement in the Grand Prix back in 2020 or 2019, I basically said I'll never bet against him again because every time I picked against him, he wins. And he's an amazing fighter, and he has overcome. He fights like so well and just rises to the occasion. But yeah, those are the things I find interesting about it. Damn glasses all over. That's weird. You must have like a switch being cut out or something if you're getting that many drops, Chris. Or you get a break in your glass. 2023 challenge for Dana to take 15 kicks, strikes to the thigh, please. Depends on who's gonna kick me, Anti-Dana. Like, is it 15 kicks from BKK? I don't even know if I'd make it one, right? 15 kicks from an 8-year-old at the at one of the gyms. I might have a chance. Might. Keep in mind too, small legs dig into the thigh a lot more than big legs. Like that shin bone is a motherfucker. Like a hard kick, like a senchai, like a boka, one kick from then, I probably have to go to the hospital. Right? Leg kicks are no joke, man. I've taken in fights, in training too, I've taken a lot of leg kicks. And even when you do it every single day, like you feel it, right? And having not done it for a very long time, like I don't necessarily want to. Has settled. Man, what's going on with the fiber tonight, man? Made some 1,000 frame per second slow-mo macro shots with the ZV-1 in the Nizzy lens recently. Ooh, got everything on manual mode. Yeah, with the ZV-1, like I almost never shoot in manual smoke depth just because like that's not how I use that camera. Like 9 times out of 10, and you can very much shoot in manual with it. I just don't find the controls for shooting in manual super intuitive because you've only got one dial on the camera, right? So you have to program in all the function buttons, and then all right, switch to this. Let me go to that. Change my ISO. So what I usually do is I lock my shutter at 1/50th, shoot at 24 FPS, and let the camera do everything else. And it tends to work pretty good. I only control whether the ND is on or off. And if I've got it rigged out with a little bit more weight, like if I mount a battery on it where I can get it really smooth, really stable, because the weight helps you shoot handheld, I'll put steady to normal as opposed to active. But if I'm just holding it manually, or I'll put it on active, or if it's on the gimbal, I just shut it off. To take the shakes out. But yeah, that's kind of my approach. But yeah, if you're shooting it full manual on the ZV-1, this is a great way to do it. You're really controlling the exposure there. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, like here to answer questions, so put them in the chat. But yeah, I think like from a technical perspective, man, it's just such a phenomenal camera to shoot with, like the ZV-1. And the fact that if I take this top handle off, I put a NATO rail, so this slides right off. Even with the NATO rail on there, this goes right in my pocket if I have to. Like I can just throw it in my pocket and walk away somewhere. And I love that about that camera. And again, the sensor it's a 1-inch sensor, but it's a 1-inch stack sensor. So it's like 3 little 1/3 sensors working together. And you get almost no rolling shutter with this camera. I mean, it looks phenomenal. And again, I've said this before, like the ZV-10, I think it's called, the one that has the interchangeable lens, it's a bigger sensor. That bigger sensor is not an improvement over the ZV-1 in my opinion. Not for being out and shooting places. Maybe if you're going to lock it off on a tripod and just point it at something, slightly better image, but like to be out somewhere, this 1-inch stack sensor on the ZV-1 punches way above its weight class. Zeiss glass, I mean, it's power zoom. You really can't go wrong with this camera if you're starting out, in my opinion. The price, everything about it. FX3 is bomb. Get on YouTube and learn quick. It's not... Yeah, no, you definitely... There are a lot of great tutorials out there. I love my FX3. And because I shot Sony cameras before, and I've shot... This is my first, like, proper cinema camera. But you definitely can learn. It's a big step if you're just starting out. And this is my thought, Chris. If for someone who's just starting out, that's the wrong camera to get. Because you might start to shoot and realize it's way overkill for you regardless, or you don't love it. Right? But the ZV-1 as a first camera is phenomenal. It's very low barrier to entry, whereas the FX3 is a very high barrier to entry financially, especially if you're just getting into it, because $5,000 for the body, just $4 or $5,000 for the body, $1,000 minimum for a decent piece of glass, another $1,000 on audio, external monitor, ND filters, matte box, building out a rig. Yeah, it gets up there. Gets up there. Jibs loves the technical talk. You falling asleep, babe? I think we're going to wrap up soon. Let me just get through the comments that we have left here, guys. Hefe, Merry Die Hard Miss. Yeah, Merry Die Hard Miss to you too. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Definitely, I can't wait to watch Die Hard again this year. I love that. We'll pull out the Paula seats and watch it on the big screen. Are you using your phone to shoot in any capacity? If so, which phone? No, not really. Sometimes for shorts and just an iPhone. Just a regular iPhone. Yeah. It's only when we shoot shorts and I shoot vertical. Otherwise, like the ZV-1, the FX3, or my GoPros. But I will say, though, not to say that you can't, because Chris from Retire Working From You shoots exclusively on his phone. A phone and a drone. But he doesn't own a GoPro. He doesn't own a DSLR unless he's bought one since we talked last. Everything he does is shot on his iPhone Pro. I think he bought the 14 when it came out, 14 Pro. But he had, I want to say he had a 11 before that, or a 12, and used it for years. So, you can completely produce high-level, beautiful stuff on your phone. Yeah, Craig, that very well might be the best way to start out. So, Seth, yeah, I'll take that into account too. If you've got a good phone that shoots well, nothing says you can't use that and get great results. So you don't necessarily need to buy a camera, but if you want to, ZV-1's my first choice. FX3, FX30 from there. FX30, then FX3 after that. Tired, Biff? Jib's passing out. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. XV1, stupid, okay. Glasses back up. Big Apple now breaking up, screwing with Connect. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Guys, 24, 25, the only way to go, the only way to learn. Yeah, I only shoot 24, and because I'm in a PAL system, instead of 148 shutter speed, 150th, just so I don't get flickering lights, but it's a technicality. With 148th, you probably still shouldn't. I got the profile for the shortcuts from the Alliance. I can control shutter for f-stop. The other thing I'll say real quick before I bounce, Jib's dying over here. You can match your ZV-1 to S-Cinetone color through a color profile on CP11. So yeah, one of the things to think about, you can match S-Cinetone color. And when I shoot on the ZV-1 and I shoot on the FX3, both with the S-Cinetone native on the FX3 and the modified S-Cinetone color on the ZV-1, they match incredibly closely, and they're easy to tweak and post to get a perfect match. With that, Jib is passing out, which means it's time for us to wrap up. It's been 2 hours, 20 minutes anyway, and Jib, I'm sure, wants to get back to cross-stitch for tonight. So, guys, thank you for rocking with us so much. We appreciate every week that you guys come out. We will schedule something midweek for the lucky draw for the Jibs art. For all you guys who supported, thank you so much. We love you. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.